Iboilu. Hatori mishelo shachaveru. A person who takes truma from his own. Now, there's just a background. You could only tithe from something that's obligated to tithe and something else that's obligated to tithe. Meaning, I have tevel, so I have to tithe my own grain. Somebody else also has grain that hasn't been tithed tevel. Now, I'm going to take a percentage of mine, not only to cover mine, but to cover the other person's also. If I'm authorized, because I was pointed as a shliach by the other person to tithe on his behalf, I could take the percentage of mine on behalf of his, and his grain is all chulin. Because I'm taking the truma from my grain to cover his grain. You following? So therefore, there's no financial cost to the other person. So you'd say, this is Zochalon Mishal B'Fonov. If I want to do something which is financially beneficial to another party, even though he didn't appoint me shliach, we could say with certainty he would want me to that I should represent him. Correct? So the question is, so could I do that if I tithe from my own on his behalf? Since he's having the financial gain, we say he definitely wants I should act on his behalf, and therefore I'm the equivalent of a shliach. Or do we say no, that since there's a mitzvah to tithe your own grain, for the financial gain, he's not willing to give up the mitzvah of tithing his own. Okay? Iboilu. HaTorah mishelo shel haveru. Tzorach dato or lo. If a person's Torah tithes from his own and someone else's, does he need the appointmentship of that individual or not? Mi amrina came to schusu lo tzorach das. Did we say since it's beneficial, it's a schus, it's meritorious to him, therefore he doesn't need the intent, it's a regular case of schio. O dilma mitzvah delay, there's a mitzvah for him to do it himself, it's his personal mitzvah, and he prefers to do it himself. Even though he'll have a financial gain, he prefers to do it himself. So that's the question, do we say Zochalon Mishal B'Fonov, or don't we say Zochalon Mishal B'Fonov? What's interesting is over here, the Gemara says in Kedushin, that when a man marries a woman, Albert. Okay, we're talking about parshas marriage. When a man marries a woman, although you could marry a woman through a shliach, you delegate it through a shliach, but mitzvah yos mishlucho. It's a greater mitzvah to marry yourself rather than going through a shliach, right? I mean, we're speaking about up here. A person's tithing his grain on the other person's grain. You can only tithe it because you're a shliach. So if you're a shliach, so you are doing the mitzvah. So if you're doing the mitzvah, the answer, but still, there's a mitzvah to do it himself. Right? Doesn't make a difference. But since they're both tevel, and the percentage, again, let's say I have a ton of grain, of mine, all mine, and I want to take one kernel to cover the ton. Everything is chulin except for that one kernel. So what difference does it make? Now I have 2 pounds. I have a pound, he has a pound. I'm going to take from my pound, not only for mine, I'm going to take for his. We're not talking about the end result, the volume. It's only speaking what my intent is when I tithe it.
Your grain. You're really tithing his grain for him, not tithing your grain.
No, you're affecting. You have to absolve. See, I want to bring out this point. It's a very important point. What is the mitzvah? Is the mitzvah to create truma, or is the mitzvah to absolve your grain from what? That it should not be tevel? No, so that you have to understand here. I mean, factually, who's creating the truma? The other person is creating the truma because it's on his grain. Reuven is taking on behalf of Shimon, but ultimately, whose grain becomes truma? Reuven's grain becomes truma because he's tithing from his own. But if the mitzvah is to create the truma, that means Shimon, who I'm representing, didn't do the mitzvah. Didn't do the mitzvah. So the question is, so what? I have to be a shliach. But yet, the Gemara is clear, you have to be everybody agrees you have to be his agent. Because I can't affect his grain to any degree unless I represent him. No, but I'm saying, it's interesting. I want to bring proof from here that it's not called a mitzvah because you have to do it yourself. But I said maybe it's not. Over here, the mitzvah is to create the truma. So factually, if I take from mine on his, he's not doing a mitzvah. Well, no, forget about the Chetz Gavra. Don't get involved with this lumdus. You're getting distracted. Okay? It's not Chetz Gavra. What is the mitzvah? Is the mitzvah to create truma, or is the mitzvah to absolve your grain from that it should be tevil? No. Simply the mitzvah is to create truma. That's the mitzvah. So who's creating the truma? The other person's creating truma, right? So what, do I have to be your agent? Because the answer is because I can't affect your grain unless I'm your agent to affect it. The truma is being created on my grain. But why I'm able to affect your grain to absolve it from truma is because I'm your agent. So factually, after being your agent, did Shimon do a mitzvah? Shimon did not do a mitzvah. He gets no credit for doing a mitzvah. Of course, if the mitzvah is creating the truma, who created the truma? Reuven, not Shimon. I only have to be your agent to be able to affect your grain, but if the mitzvah is to create the truma, Shimon did no mitzvah whatsoever. Okay? Toshma. So we're going to bring a proof. Torem es trumos ves maisros of ledat. It says in the Mishnah that if a person makes a neder, you will not benefit from me. Reuven, Shimon, you will not benefit from me. It says in the Mishnah, Reuven ketayved Shimon's grain. Take truma, take meiser. Why isn't he benefiting? That's going to be the discussion now. Now, when Reuven takes the grain, takes the truma for Shimon, was he appointed to be his agent? If he was directly appointed as his agent and he acquiesced to be his agent, so he's benefiting. Of course, Reuven is doing what Shimon wants, right? So the Gemara said that's why that can't be the case. The Gemara says, "Maya skina." Ilema, always speaking, Michel Balakri, Al Shabalakri, Uledato, right? Uledato Deman. It says in the Mishnah, it has to be with his intent. Are we talking about Reuven's grain on Reuven's grain? And the intent means, Ilem Dato delay, it's the third party without asking permission, without being authorized. I mean, you can't tithe somebody else's grain unless you have permission, unless you're appointed to be his shliach. So that can't be the case. It can't be Reuven's grain from Reuven's grain, and Shimon's doing it without being authorized by Shimon. You cannot tithe somebody else's grain if you're not authorized, okay? El Dato de Balakri. We're speaking about that Shimon is tithing Reuven's grain from Reuven's grain, because he was appointed to be Reuven's shliach. So if that's the case, he's benefiting him, right? He said he will not benefit from Shimon. So if Shimon is tithing now Reuven's grain on behalf of Reuven, he's benefiting him because he's adhering to what? To his request. Ella Mishalo al Shabel Akri. Hear this? It's talking about Reuven is tithing from his own grain on behalf of Shimon's grain. The exact question we're discussing. Uldadato deman, and with whose intent? Ilaim ildato debalakri. Are we speaking about Shimon asked Reuven, take from yours on behalf of mine? See, again, he's benefiting from it. Elav ledati denafshe. The answer is no. His own intent. Umishlo tor mishal chaveiro. Zumar says, Yevsher. With the consent of the what? Of the one whose grain is being affected. Zumar said, it can't be Yevsher. But if you tell me you have to have intent, again he's benefiting him. If I say to Shimon, I will represent you, I will take from my grain on your grain, and he says, do it. So why am I doing it now? Because he authorized me. So if that's the case, that's the direct benefit. Right? He says, Ella, do you know what the answer is? Ella ain't tzaradas. We're speaking about, he doesn't have to consult with him. Right? So we have proof. So we have proof from here, from the Mishnah, that I could take from my grain on my grain without the knowledge of the one I'm affecting, because that's based on the principle of Zochalam Shalom B'fonov. Let's stop. Now we have to do the Ran. The Ran says something very interesting. We had an argument before Chonin the Chachomim. If a person says, I'm a debtor. Now somebody says, I say I will not benefit from so-and-so. I will not benefit so-and-so. And that so-and-so, I said, he goes and pays off my debt that the creditor can't collect from me. is that called a benefit? Since it was not, we had before Chonin the Chonin says it's not a problem. Why? Because paying my debt is like taking the line off my back. Therefore, he can pay me. The Rambam says no, he can't pay my debt because factually I'm a beneficiary. I'm benefiting. You know, a penny saved is a penny earned. That's called benefiting. So the question is over here. If we're saying if he doesn't authorize him directly, and I take a migraine, so according to the Chachomim, it should not be permitted, right? We want to bring proof from our Mishnah that I could tithe from migraine without you directly pointing me as your agent, right? And that's not called the one who is not permitted benefiting. Why? Why is it any worse than absolving him from a debt? So the Ran cites a Rashba that this is going like Chonon. The Gemara is bringing the proof according to Chonon. Just as a person who's I'm not permitted benefit to pay off my debt, this person tithing from his grain on his own grain, and me benefiting is like taking the lion off my back. It's like paying off my debt. Otherwise, of course, according to the Chachamim, I'm benefiting. The Ran is going to make a differentiation. That here, even the Chachamim could agree. Take a look in the Ran. El died nafshi terms lo chashvin el no came to be died to Ovid velo Yov limidia. V'ashim asis kachonon. You have to say when we bring the proof, it's going like chonon. The rabbanon yevshed lo gorem yiporech choved osel rabbanon. I mean, it can't be any better than paying off somebody's debt. If I pay somebody's debt according to the Chachamim, you're not permitted. V'li nireh. So the Ran says no. I disagree. The afilu rabbanon shori. The kevon the asik lekamon the term shelo shel chaveru tovas ano shel torim. Equal the term the Torim Losis Losokoin Churotzim Skabi indicted Nafshi Ovid. Al-Kri Gromabah, he says something phenomenal. If I pay off somebody else's debt, let's according to the Chachamim. According to Chonan, when I pay off somebody else's debt, even though he's not permitted to benefit from me, it's okay. Why? Because what did I do? I took the line off his back. The Chacham say it's true. But factually, why did you pay off the debt? Because you wanted to benefit him. Therefore, it's not permitted. Even though I took the line off your bet, but why? You have to have a personal interest. Because I wanted to help him. But it's a problem. Because there's a matter here, you're not permitted to help, he's not permitted to benefit from you. The case of Truma, he said, the Gemara concludes, now, the one who tithes Truma, who has the right to choose which Kohen? Let's say I take Truma. Whoever takes the Truma, I have a right to choose which Kohen. Let's say I tithe for my grain and I absolve somebody else's grain. The right to give the truma to who has that right? The one whose grain was absolved, or the one who created the truma? The Gemara comes out in the conclusion, the one who created the truma. So it comes out he has a personal interest. So why did I take from my grain on my grain? Because I wanted to have more truma to give to a Kohen. So I did it for my own personal interest. That you're a beneficiary, that's a side benefit. That's called grama. That's an incidental. That you're a beneficiary, that's an incidental. The case where I pay off your debt, why should I pay off your debt? So that's directly. I'm directly benefiting you. That's what the Chum say you're not permitted. But over here, where I'm the ultimate beneficiary, the one who tithes it, because I have more truma to give, so therefore, but you're a beneficiary. But that's an incidental. Incidental, even the Chacham agree, that's permitted in the case of neder. Okay, that's the Ran. So Morris says, no proof. The Morris says, you know what he said? He didn't appoint it. A person makes a statement. Whoever wants to tithe my grain has a right to tithe my grain. He doesn't even know who's tithing it. If I appoint you, I said, I want you to tithe my grain, and you acquiesce to my request. If I made a neder, you're not permitted to tithe my grain. Because you're acquiescing to my request, you're benefiting me. What about I made a public statement? Whoever wants to tithe my grain, let him tithe my grain. Whoever it may be. And no. We're saying that it's no proof. It's not he's tithing on his. We're saying no. He's tithing from the grain of the person who owns the grain for the person who owns the grain. Okay? But he made a statement. He says, whoever wants to tithe my grain can tithe my grain. What did we say before? We said if it's from the grain on the one whose grain it is, that means you have to be appointed to be a shliach. So if you have to be appointed shliach and you acquiesced his request, so you're benefiting him. That's why you couldn't speak, I appoint you directly my shliach. Right? But over here, I just made a public statement to the public. Whoever wants to tithe my grain should tithe my grain. Whoever acquiesces, I have no idea who's acquiescing. So it's not me having the pleasure of knowing that this person acquiesced. I have no idea who's acquiescing. Therefore, that's still called a benefit. So again, absolving the grain on my behalf is what? That's taking a line off my back. And who has the benefit? The benefit is the truma, because the truma. Let's see the run inside here. Now, why is that called benefiting? Since he's not explicitly appointing him to be his agent, what about if you'd say, whoever hears my voice? He didn't say, whoever wants to tithe, tithe. He said, whoever hears my voice, shlich smal yahava. Also, b'mud ha'nod, amina perkamad, kol shmei kol yosin l'shlichusi kovid, uvkinin lei, namer gabi get, kol shmei kol yichtov get, liishte, hilkoch dafko, kol rotz litrom, v'yitrom d'lav shlichus gomhu. He's saying, he's splitting hairs here. He's like this. To be able to tithe somebody else's grain, you have to be an agent. If I appoint you directly to be my agent, it's not because it's anonymous. Not because it's anonymous. The language to write a get, a sofa can only write a get if he's appointed to be a shliach. If he's not directly appointed to be the shliach, he cannot write a get on behalf of the one who's divorcing his wife. Correct? If he says whoever wants to write a get should write a get, the Gemara says that's not a valid appointmentship. But if you say whoever hears my voice should write, that's called an appointmentship. So he says, so if that were the case, by mudar hanoah, by true, whoever hears my voice should tithe my grain, he wouldn't be permitted, because that's called direct appointmentship. Here it's speaking like I'm not interfering. Wait. It's No, we didn't have this in Kedusha. We didn't have it in Kedusha, no. No, you have to understand what it is. Yeah. Okay, let's go further. Boy mine Reb Zero mi Reb Yirmi mi Reb Zero. Reb Yirmi post-Kush Reb Zero. Hator b'shelo al shechadero. Now, if let's say, not netter, you say to me, you could take from your grain or my grain. Okay? Tovas hano shalmi. Who has the right to distribute that truma? The additional truma that was created when you took on your grain for my grain, who has the right to choose the kohen? The one who created the truma, or the one who gave permission that his grain should be covered? Mi amrinan ilav peridech mi misak de karidahu. You say, if not for this man's grain, the person couldn't have what? There wouldn't be truma. O dilma ilav karidahu lo havi peri dahavian truma. That ain't truma. Now, why is it truma? Why do you have the additional truma? You have the additional truma because it absolved the other person's grain. So the question: do I look on the one who created it, or whose grain was affected by it? Omalei omakro. He says there's a pasuk. It's kol asher es kol tfua zarecho b'nosato. Okay, it says tfua zarecho. Yeah, means it was like truma sutorim bal kri shetei tovas no shelo tovas no shein liyisrael davar muad sheitei no truma leben bito kohen deal kohen also lay lemesel dina yisrael yidin shumos afil kohen mesebis agros karinu yeah. Amalei perididan tfuah zarecho nosat. It says tolo hansino bebal hazera dain balakri. It says tfuah zarecho v'nosato. Tolo hansino bebal hazera hain balakri. How does he explain that? The balakri he tovas hano, but it says zarecho v'nosato. See, he answered him, it's based on whose grain you absolved. That's what he answered him. It's not the conclusion. Eisvei, Torah is true, most of us, Maisros of the Dato, if you see the beneficiary is the one whose grain was tied, Hokamahani lay. And the Shmamina Gemara retracts. Shmamina Tovasan delay. Amri lo mishal balakri al shbalakri l'dato de balakri ba'omek lo rotza lidrum yov v'yitrum. Yeah. Toshma. Yeah. Shemzakeu b'torem l'balakri litin osa truma l'mishi yirtze tovas hano v'nibtze maneo mamish. Yeah. Ba'omer kol rotza litrum yov v'yitrum.
He's taking truma from the other person's grain.
On the grain, and he didn't appoint him directly, did not appoint him directly. Lo mari el b'shel balakri lo dato de balakri lo hochi tovas hano shelo filu hochi lo mahani le. That's not called benefiting him.
Because he didn't say somebody specifically should do it.
Right.
And he's actually using his grain.
He's using his own, the grain of the one.
Of the guy who can't have any benefit.
Right, right,
So
right.
This is
So
clear.
Yeah, so why isn't he benefiting? Factually, if he has the right to give it to who chooses to give it to, why is that called a benefit? Factually, he acted on his behalf.
He's separated.
You're separated.
He's separated.
Right? Why isn't it? It's difficult. 1 second.
The separator is giving it, but he chooses.
No, the Gemara is saying no. It's no proof. You want to bring proof from here. Clearly, it's the one who tied that he has the right, not the one whose grain it is. Not the one whose grain it is.
Right. So now you aren't the benefit is going to the separator, not to the owner. Because you used his grain. You can choose who you want to give it to, but that's not a benefit to the owner. That's your benefit.
Lomi shabalakri shabalakri udatul balakri boime. Yeah, wait a second. Lo, he says, Lomi shabalakri al shabalakri udatul balakri. Rather, ba'omer. There you go. Not sure. Ba'omer kol rotz litrum yov. How does he explain it in English? This game. Want to bring proof? It belongs to not the one who owns the grain, but it's the one who tied it. The
The owner is not seen as benefiting the owner.
Why not?
Because the Mishnah speaks of where the owner announces whoever
Okay.
wishes to remove the truma, and my produce may come and remove it.
Yeah.
Hence, although the owner has the benefit of gratitude, we do not regard the separator as the cause of his receiving it, and so we do not regard the separator as the owner's illegal benefactor.
Yes, it's difficult. I don't understand it. I understand it. No. Factually, the end result is now the one who is not permitted benefit has truma to give to a kohen. He's a beneficiary. He
It's the guy who's separated.
No. We switched. We wanted to bring a proof. That no, it's not a proof. It's speaking where he said it. Generally speaking, he says whoever wants to tithe, and therefore the one who owns the grain, he has the right to give it away. But since it did not come directly, he's not called a beneficiary. He's not called a beneficiary, even though the one who owns the grain has the right to choose the kohen. That's what you just read there. The line before said this. So we'll bring a conclusive proof that the one who tied that he has the right. Someone says, no, that's not what we're speaking about. The one who has the right is the one who owns the grain. But since it came about in this indirect way, that's not called he benefited him. Okay? You're good. No, it doesn't have to be. Yeah, definitely. He could take on his. He could take on the other person. The other person. He could. No. He doesn't. He could take that percentage of his crop on the other person's crop.
Yeah.
No, because it doesn't make. If you give me permission, I could take off from mine on yours. Because it's all on the same level. It's both tevel. Yours is tevel, mine's tevel. I could tell you for mine on yours. Because I'm representing you as your agent. Yeah, but that goes all the way back to the beginning of the page. But that's fact. You could do it.
It doesn't seem like you should be able to.
No, it's the same percentage. It's the same percentage. They're not being shortchanged.
It should go to them, but who should do it?
The question, no. The Torah says that when you have tevel, you have to take a certain amount to cover it. It was taken. Let's say I would own all the tevel, and I would want to take that same percentage. Would it be a problem? Wouldn't be a problem. So now it's Reuven and Shimon. Now Shimon appoints Reuven to be his agent, to take from one to cover the other. So what difference does it make? I'm taking from tevel on tevel. What difference does it make if it's all owned by one or it's owned by two? You're representing me to tithe mine, except you're taking from yours to cover mine.
That's John. It's bothering you.
Yeah, I hear what's bothering, but it shouldn't bother you. Because as long as it's all within the same classification, one is able to cover the other. It isn't. Let's say it's grain on grain, barley on barley, spelt on spelt. Let's say it's all the same.
What is the obligation? Is it my obligation to take from mine? Or
No, it doesn't. No, there's an obligation to tithe tevel.
Which anybody's tevel. Whoever.
No, whoever owns the tevel is that obligation. Right. Okay, good. So I have an obligation. You have. Now I'm appointing you to execute my obligation. It doesn't make a difference what you're affecting. Right. As long as you're affecting tevel, then you've executed my obligation. Tevel means they're both untithed. L'chatchila, b'di'evet, it's b'di'evet. L'chatchila, it should be the same. It should be wheat on wheat, spelt on spelt, barley on barley. Okay? Shouldn't be two species. Okay, further. Toshma. The Omer Rabavo. Hamagdish Mosef Homish. If you consecrate something, right? I consecrate a table. Now I want to redeem the table after I consecrate it. I have to pay cost, value, plus the fifth. Let's say a third party consecrates it, wants to redeem it. He just pays cost. Value, he does not pay the fifth. Only the consecrated pays the fifth. Hamagdish Mosef Chomish. Umiskaper Oset Tamura. Okay? Let's say I consecrate an animal or a table. Now the animal becomes a balmum, right? Gets blemished. So what I have to do? I have to redeem it. I have to pay value plus a fifth. Okay? Let's say I want to say now, another party, he doesn't pay the fifth. Let's say we speak about Tmura. If I have an animal, I say B should be like A. So the Torah says B, it's a Torah violation. B becomes A. So A and B are the same. What about a third party comes? He's not the miskaper. He's not the person who will be atoned with A. And he wants to say, he'll take his own animal. He says, let my animal B be like A. Nothing happens. You cannot transfer the Kedusha unless you are the one, you own the kapora. Right. You have the kapora of that animal. Okay? So that's miskaper oset tamura. It says, the one who tithes from his own on someone else's, toves hano shelo. The right to distribute the truma belongs to the one who tithed it. So that's the conclusion. Okay? Good. Let's see, Ran. Hamagdish Mosef Chomish, Hamagdish Beimel Karbano Shalavero V'Humo Rotz Leftoso. Yeah, he's interesting. More. Let's say you need a chatos, Alvin. You need, and you can't afford a chatos. You know, so I'll take my animal. I'll concentrate on your behalf. So who did I concentrate on your behalf? Now it becomes blemished. So now you need another animal. I go now and I redeem it on money to buy another animal. Because I was the consecrator. Although it's not my korban. I did it on your behalf. I did you a favor. I have to add the fifth. Because I was the consecrator. Now, if I created it, let's say I want to make Tamura. I want to transfer it. No. Only the one who was consecrated on his behalf could he make Tamura. So regarding the fifth, although it's not your korban, you pay the fifth. In addition to value. But in terms of transferring the Kedusha, it's the one who, it's his korban. So it's Shimon's carbon, it's not the consecrator's carbon. It's only the one whose carbon is transferred, not the consecrator. Okay, that's it. Tov zeno shelo shel Torah mafizeh kro dechsev aset ta'asis kol tvos arech v'nasat aset ta'aset koi aset ta'aset nasat masas zakai benesinos welcome for himself tomorrow. Okay, further. Now it says in the Mishnah. Okay, now we'll get into not too difficult things. It says in the Mishnah, if I make a net, I'm not going to benefit from you. If you want to teach me Medrash, you want to teach me Gemara, you want to teach me Halacha, you're forbidden. Why? Because you have an obligation to teach me. Since it's a mitzvah, the benefit is a mitzvah. We say, within the context of neder, benefit means material benefit. Spiritual benefit doesn't. Let's say I said, I'm not going to benefit you, want to blow a shofar on my behalf. You can be motzmi and tekiah shofar. Krias Megillah. Why? Because that's called mitzvahs lav nehenes. Since it's a mitzvah, that's not called benefiting. So, learning Medrash, Halacha, Agoda, you can teach me. What about Chumash? Mikra, the Mishnah says you can't teach me. So that's what we're dealing with. Okay? Mikra, my timer, lo. Lo yilamdenu. She says, why can't teach you Chumash? The Mishnah says Chumash you can't teach. Bishum to kamani, because he's benefiting. I'm giving you knowledge. So says Medrash nami kamani. So what do I teach a Medrash? I'm also benefiting you. We're speaking about when you get a fee for teaching Chumash, but you don't get a fee for teaching Medrash. So if you're getting a fee, so if I teach you gratis, so you're benefiting. I'm giving you something that's a material value. But Medrash that I get no fee, so I'm purely giving you a mitzvah. A mitzvah, that's not called benefit, okay? Someone says, my psoka, but it's difficult. We're setting it up in a circumstance. It's really not dependent whether it's Chumash or whether it's Medrash. It depends whether you pay for it or don't pay for it. Right? Excuse me? You're permitted to teach, to pay, to charge for teaching Chumash. But if I want to charge you for teaching Medrash or Gemara, I'm not permitted to charge you. It's a Torah violation. Here, we'll see in a moment. Here, even in a community where they charge for the Chumash Rebbe, Shori lemishkal. Shori, you're permitted to take it. You're permitted to take the fee. Ala Medrash, but when they charge a fee for Medrash, lo Shori lemishkal. You're not permitted to take it. Ma'ishna Medrash, the low. Why aren't you permitted to take a fee for teaching Medrash? Tichsiv v'osi tziva Hashem beisahi lamid eschem. Moshe Rabbeinu says to Klaus, Hashem has commanded me to teach you. It's not finished. Very important. Uchsiv rei lamati eschem chuk mishpotim kashet tzivane Hashem. There's another pasuk. He says to Klaus, understand that I've taught you the statutes, mishpotim, as Hashem commanded me. What does it mean as Hashem commanded me? Hashem commanded me. Mani bechinam, just as I was a student and I received the knowledge gratis, Hashem didn't charge me. Avatem nami bechinam. So when you teach what I taught you, you're not permitted to charge for it. So therefore, as a result, even if you want to charge, you're not permitted to charge. So therefore, if I teach you, what am I teaching you? I'm giving you a benefit which is not a material benefit. Somebody asks a question. So what about Mikra nami bechinam? When Moshe Rabbeinu taught us the Chumash, it wasn't bechinam. It was also gratis. So if it's based on this pasuk, as Hashem taught Moshe, without free of charge, that's the way it has to be transmitted. So what about Chumash? Rava Meschar Shimur. We're talking about something else. Rabbi Yochanan Meschar Pisuk Tomim. There's an argument like, what about a person who has children? They have to be taught. So that you need a babysitter. You have to discipline the kids. So if we're talking about the person who teaches Chumash, you need disciplining. They need disciplining. So if I don't charge you, what am I doing? I'm giving you a service which normally I get a fee for. So that's called benefiting. But in terms of the other piece of timing, what about what we call Tami Amikra? The cancellations, Trup. Right? That has nothing to do with what was given to Moshe at Sinai. Let's say I'm going to be a Bar Mitzvah Rebbe, and I'm going to teach you how to lane with the tunes. No, that you can charge for. Because that's rabbinical. We'll see that piece of timing. So Gemara says, so either we're talking about Schar Shimur, it's actually watching the kids to make sure they should study. So if I teach the person's children without a fee, I'm giving them material benefit. I'm not permitted. But if I teach them midrash, they're already mature, they're not much children any longer, that's not a problem. Tanan, lo yilamdenu mikro. It says in the Mishnah, you're not permitted to teach chumash. Bishlo mandi yom aschar pisuk taimim. Hainu lo yilamdenu. If you say it's to teach them how to read the chumash with the vowels and with the cantillations, el mandi yom aschar shima godel bashimu. Tumat they're adult. If it's an adult, what adult needs discipline. It's not a babysitter. Mercy because the Mishnah said we're talking about a minor. Ibekot name is seifo avol mlamed is bonov mikro, but it says you permitted to teach his children. So evidently, what's the Mishnah speaking about? We're talking about an adult. It says you're not permitted to teach him chumash, but you're permitted to teach his children chumash. So what kind of person are we talking about? Talking about an adult. So what do you mean? The reason why I'm not permitted to teach him chumash is because I'm waiving the fee, the babysitting fee. But who am I teaching? I'm teaching an adult. There's no babysitting fee. Okay? Cotton barbonimu. Something's been deleted from the Mishnah. Lo yilamdenu mikro bekotten. You're not permitted to teach a person's children chumash. We deal with a child. Because by a child, if you're teaching him gratis, what are you doing? You're waiving the fee. Im hoyogodol. But if you be an adult, melamdo. Lo, you can teach him and also his children. Also his children. Okay? 1 second. Rashi said, the Ran says, what's a piece of timing? Okay, let's see the Ran. Very important Ran here. Omesh shvul b'mokshe not l'schar la mikra not l'schar la medrash al medrash shor mishka. Nirbein hochi perusha. Midina mutar litol schar la mikra. Halachically, you're permitted to take a fee for teaching chumash. La la medrash can force wazil, as the Gemara quotes in Pasuk. Yesh makomos. There's certain communities, they will not take money even for teaching chumash. They created a fence because we're concerned if you charge for one, you'll end up charging something else. So communities with facts, they don't charge for the Cheder Rebbe, they don't charge. You're permitted to teach chumash because it's cost free. The Mishnah is speaking where they do charge a fee. So since you normally pay a fee, and here if he waives the fee, so you're gaining materially. But since for Chumash and Medrash and Gemara, and Allah not permitted to take a fee, the Medina also can force for us. That's not called benefiting him. Because he owes him no fee. The Now halacha, how do we rule? Medrash you're not permitted to take a fee. Now this is very important. So how do you pay? You have a teacher in yeshiva. How do you pay him a salary? We're saying that it's a Torah violation. You're not permitted to get paid for teaching Gemara, for teaching halacha, only for chumash. No, so how do you take the fee? No, that's Howard's answer. No, adults. There's no babysitter. You teach Gemara, you teach to adults. There's no babysitter. So this is called schar batola, meaning you're not paying me for what I'm teaching you. I have to earn a livelihood. If I'm going to be preoccupied earning a livelihood, I'm not going to be available to teach you. So therefore, they pay him, so he should avail himself to teach. Right? So it's more ksubis. You're not permitted to take a payment for a mitzvah. So you had what we call dining exers. You had judges, sat on courts, rabbinic courts. They paid him a salary. How do they pay him a salary? Because if you don't pay him a salary, they're not going to be available to what? To convene as part of the court. So the same thing here. When you pay the teacher to teach Gemara, you're not paying him for his service. You're paying him to avail himself to be available to teach. Okay? Right. He needs a livelihood. Aval agra betelo shori vochi yisub yushalmi the garsin hosam yochlaf al mikro of targum mukim mishpatim atem lamdim mechinam vi atem lamdim mechinam mikro v'targum excuse me tukim mishpatim chukim at mishpatim lamdim mechinam vi atem lamdim mechinam mikro v'targum Yeah, Targum Onkelos you could also charge for. The Aramaic translation. Chein Chomi, Mesanyo, Nazman, Igreon, Omer Rav Yudim, Shmuel, Schar Betelon, Heim Notlin. Maishel Ksiva, Osi Tzivil, Yo, Haikro, Maishel Lashmina, the Moshe, the Sabalumo, Torah, Lisrael, Kosem, Ksiva, Evilus, as Chug Mishpanik, Shetzivani, Kloma, Shetzivani, Lumot, Bechinom, Lok Shetzivani, Amaikoi, Lekol Mem, Schar, Dechi, Lema, Kashetzivani, Chitzivo, Lekol Mem, Namid, Kashetzivani, Hochi, Komek, Kashetzivani, Loma Atzmi, Tavadi, Yisrael, Loim, Fakfing, Bekach, Toksiv, Kachim, Bach, Yamino, Loolom, Kashetzivani. Mikronami Bechinom, Shaschim, Masama Lobdi Mikro Ketanim, teaching children, Chichanshim, Shemochinam, Idaga Lima, Rabbi Yochanan, Schapis, Time, Lamdin, also Tamim, Labdo Rice. That's we say you're teaching them what we call the trop, the cantillations. Hilgol Habi Chalchug Mishpat, Vikabain Rabbi, Rabbi Yochanan, Lami, Mikro Godol, Boishima the Rab, also Sfil Pis Time, Doraiso. Rav holds that cantillations are also Halachim Mishinai. They're arguing that what we call the trop. Is that a doraisa or was that rabbinical? Rabbi Yochanan Mishum Schar Pisuk Taimi Linya Loch Kaimelon Rab Rabbi Yochanan Loch Rabbi Yochanan Aktinon. So you know that feel godlu shari little schar mikro. Hein Divri Rambam. We rule like Rabbi Yochanan that Pisuk Taimim is what you could charge. The bar mitzvah teacher is permitted to charge to teach a bar mitzvah lesson, even though there's no babysitting involved, because the cantillations are rabbinical. So therefore, that was not taught by God to Moshe. It's only what Hashem taught Moshe that you cannot charge for. But since the cantillations are rabbinical, therefore you have a right to charge for that. Okay? Further. Meisvei. Tinokas lo korem tchil b'Shabbos. Now the interesting. Eloshon b'rishon. When you teach children, in the olden days, they used to have yeshiva, cheder on Shabbos. Yeah? Cheder on Shabbos. That's where Howard, he goes to a session on Shabbos. Okay? So now, but it says when you teach them, you only review the material from the week. You don't teach them new material. Because why? Because Shabbos is a time where you go easy with the kids. So reviewing is easier than learning something new. So that's what it says. Tinok shelo koren betchila b'Shabbos. You don't learn new material for the first time on Shabbos with children. Avol shonin berishon. But you review what was learned earlier in the week. Okay? Bishlam man diyom eschich schar pisuk taimim. If you say, when you teach the children, we're speaking about the cantillations, Hainu dein korim b'tchilu b'Shabbos. Aval man diyom eschar shimur, amayin korim b'tchilu b'Shabbos. Maishon b'rishon, oik eschar shimur b'Shabbos. Now the question is, you're not permitted to work on Shabbos, to get a fee, if you're going to teach the kids on Shabbos. So even if you're reviewing, but you're getting paid. Right? So if you're getting paid, it's a problem. That's what it says. If you say you could charge for the cantillations, so that means, what do we say? So the first time you teach a person something, it's much more difficult to learn. So therefore, there's a discipline issue. So therefore, when you review, you don't have to supervise the kids as well. But if you're telling me that you're always, whenever you teach children, you always have to supervise them. Because of what? Because of what? Because of discipline, right? So what's the difference if it's the first time or the second time? The kids are not listening, right? The Shabbos, and you're not permitted to get paid for your service on Shabbos. This, it comes up with Allah. It's a halachic question. People have babysitters coming over Shabbos. Jewish babysitter. Goy, you get paid. Let's say, now the babysitter, she's not permitted to be paid for Shabbos. You want to go out to a kiddush, so you ask a neighbor's daughter to come over, babysit, teenage daughter. So you want to be nice. You give them you're not permitted to pay them because you're paying them for the service. So the way you could do it, the girl usually would say, I don't take. I'm doing it. This is what I want to show my appreciation. So when you're giving the gift, it's giving as a gift. You're not giving as payment. But if you say, no, I pay $10 an hour, you spend 2 hours, I'm paying you $20. You're not permitted to do this. Because that's actually paying a wage on Shabbos, and a Jew is not permitted to receive a wage for Shabbos. Okay? So that's the Gemara's question. If it's a question of you're charging for teaching the cantillations, so if they already learned it in the week, and you're just reviewing, there's no basis to charge. But if you're saying it's babysitting, what difference does it make if it's the first time or the 10th time? So even when they're reviewing, you have to babysit. If Now he's asking the other question, right? This is the question. What about if I charge you? I'm a babysitter. I work 7 days a week for you. You pay me by the week. I could charge you the fee for the week. If I'm not permitted to charge you for the day, even though the week's salary is comprised of 7 days of service, that's okay. It's only rabbinically you're not permitted to be paid for Shabbos. But if it's absorbed with the other days, it's permitted. So that's what we're saying now. Havlah is not permitted. Since it's absorbed, he's paying him in one lump sum for the whole week. So that's the case, it's not a problem. Right? Why are you permitted to teach piece of time? If you tell me the reason why you're not permitted to teach with what? Teach them cancellations is because you're paying a fee. And the second time, they learned it already. What do you mean? You pay the Rebbe, you pay him the week's salary. So if you're paying him as part of a week's salary, you could even teach him the first time. Right? So that's Gemara's question. V'avlo mishishori, the Tanya, soches apoel, lishmor atinok. You're hiring somebody to be a babysitter, to watch the child. Lishmor sapora, to watch the animal. Lishmor zroim, einos l'schar Shabbos. I can't pay you for Shabbos. Lefichoch, therefore, im ovdu einu chai b'achriyusan. So what is it? So on Shabbos, you're a shomer sechinam. You're not a shomer socher. You paid me to watch an animal per day. Now Shabbos, I'm watching animal, the animal goes lost. You can't. You have no claim against me because I'm a shomer sechinam. But if I'm being paid for the week, for the month, and for the year, schir shavua for the 7-year period, no slow schar Shabbos, you're permitted to pay the wage. So since you're permitted to pay the fichochim avdu chayiv b'achriyusam, if it goes lost, the shomer has liability. So therefore, let's get back to it. So therefore, we have difficulty on every level. What does it say in the Mishnah, in the Brisa? Children, you cannot teach them new material, only old material. Whether it's teaching them the cancellations or babysitting, if it's havlah, if you pay the man a week's salary, it's not a problem being paid for Shabbos. So if that's the case, why can't you teach him new material and speaking where you're paying for the week, right? I mean, people, they have very often you have a kiddush on Shabbos, you have religious waiters. So how do you pay them? They're working for Shabbos. The answer is because they set up the tables before Shabbos. They clean up after Shabbos. You're paying them for the weekend. You're not paying them. I mean, the way you calculate the hours, it's the amount of time they spend. But how are you paying them? I'm paying you for the weekend. The weekend starts Friday. It ends Saturday night. So since it's not specifically for Shabbos, that's the reason why they're permitted to take a fee. Person's a Balkori on Shabbos. Right? He has to prepare. There's many things he has to do. He has to travel home, this and that. After Shabbos, if everything is limited to Shabbos, he can't charge you. Because then he's taking a wage for Shabbos. Can't get a wage for Shabbos. But if he's charging for his preparation time and everything, so then it's all-inclusive, therefore you can pay the fee, although the Shabbos is included within the fee, within the calculation of the fee. That's the way you get around it. So that's why I said, if you have a girl coming up only babysit on Shabbos for you, it's a problem. You can't pay that. As much as you want to show your appreciation by paying her per hour, you can't pay her. Unless you say, look, I know I'm not paying you. I just want to show my appreciation. I'm giving you a gift. No, we're talking about a baby. You're not teaching the baby anything. Literally a babysitting job. You have an infant. You want somebody to be in the house. Listen, one time you had to learn how to be nice to people. Today you have to teach people to be nice to babies. That they shouldn't be cruel to children. Okay. Okay, we're living in a different world. Okay. So getting back to the Mishnah, how do we learn the Mishnah? The Fichot writes, Lematzusa de Shabbato. Sh'obas hatin pone lemitzvah Shabbos, mishtashim tinokos, yikru hatinokos lechatchila yochushu libitulam. Hear this. When does a father have time to spend with his children? On Shabbos. If the child's going to be preoccupied with learning new material, the father is not going to want to spend time because he'll feel he'll be taken away from the child's studies. Mm-hmm. If it's you're only reviewing, so the father says, you know something, he could review and I could spend time with him because he's not learning new material. But if he's learning new material, how do I have a right to infringe on my child's time? So for the sake of the child, So for the sake of the father being able to spend time with his child, we don't want the teacher to teach new material.
So is that owning Shabbos? That we're just saying?
No, you want the kid to be raised normally.
I know, but the father is...
Forget about owning Shabbos. You know what normalcy is?
No.
Okay, I know you don't. That's part of the problem. You have to raise a child. A parent has to spend time with his kid. So if the child's going to be preoccupied with new material, the father is going to hold back and not spend time with the child needs. That's what we're talking about. You hear this? When the diet on Shabbos is a different diet. We eat differently, we drink differently. So it weighs heavily on the person's digestive system. Hear this? That whenever you change any eating habit or behavior pattern, that's the beginning of illness. A body is able to condition itself, as rigorous something may be. Once you're conditioned, you can deal with it. The moment you make a switch, although the switch may be not as burdensome as something else, that could actually compromise your health. So since Shabbos is a time the child eats differently, so now it has to be compensated. So if the child's mind has to concentrate on the learning, so you're pulling the child in two directions. Physically, the child is burdened because of a different type of eating. He's eating and drinking differently. So, and on top of that, you want to give him new material. It's too much for the child to handle, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Shini Ves is what? Would I say this recently? Yeah. The Gemara said, we had this. We had the Gemara Kesubas. It says, all the days of the poor, all the days of the poor are bad. So the Gemara asks, why are they all bad? Even the poor man on Shabbos eats like a king. He says, no, even the Shabbos is no good. Because since during the Eid he eats a poultry diet, and Shabbos he eats totally different, so even when he eats better, it's not good for him, because it's going to cause him to become sick. So all the days of the poor man are bad for him. The rich man eats okay a whole week, so he eats a little bit better. But the contrast, the diet for the poor man, it's extreme. Therefore, all his days are no good. To be continued. As they say, damned if you